Okay, so hello everyone and welcome to today's episode of Multimedia and Web Design. I think today marks our fourth week of meeting, and then today we're going to talk about or speak about an interesting topic, and of course it's a programming language. We are going to talk about JavaScript. So first of all, what is JavaScript? Of course it's a programming language, and then it's a scripting language, right? So as the name suggests, or as the name delineates, JavaScript, a scripting language. And then JavaScript is used to, create some kind of dynamic interactivity with our web page and then users. So let's take this scenario whereby a user visits a web page and then he or she sees a button right there. He clicks on the button and then something happens. Sometimes the user is being led to a different page, or regards to the same web page, right? Or like you click on it and then there's a submission somewhere with regards to some backend, but of course we're not talking about backend right today. Okay, so let's have a look at this scenario. Okay, so we have a web page right here, and then it says welcome to our website, just a dummy website, right? Just a simple website right here, and then right beneath it we have a button element right here. Okay, so like shall we click on it and see what happens to the button? So yeah, there we go. On the click of the button, we have this small pane right here which says 20% of whatever. We have an input something over there, and then we have another button right beneath it too. We have this element also here. There's an icon, right? So then when we click on this icon, something happens. It disappears, right? When you click on the button again, it comes back, and then we can disappear it right again. So this is all what JavaScript is about: some kind of interactivity, creating interactivity between the user and then the interface right there, right? Okay, so what is going on or in our code? What is going on at the back side of the code? Yeah, so there is this kind of event listeners. So this click, they are all events. We have the key up events, scrolling events, and we've got a whole lot of events, right? So on the event of clicking, there is a callback function that fires when we click the button right there, or the elements. This element too happens to be same as when we click on it. There's a callback function which makes that small pane disappears. So yeah, that is all what JavaScript is about. So shall we dive into JavaScript? We are going to use Visual Studio Code as our IDE, our integrated development environment, right? So I'm going to create an HTML file first. So let's name it index.html. Of course, not really gonna use it for anything, but just create some dummy text right on it, and then let's try to launch it over there. Okay, so we don't have anything on it at the moment. Let me try to put this over here, and then I'll test editor to over here. There we go. Okay, let me open this right a bit, and then we are going to use the Chrome development tools, right? So we can use F12 for that. We click on F12, and then yeah, we got a console for JavaScript. But first of all, how can you inscribe JavaScript in a web page or in our project? We can do that via 3 ways. We can do that. We can put the JavaScript within a script tag in the head of our HTML element. We can do that and inscribe the JavaScript code with the same script tag in the body too. So let's have a look at it. Like, let's do this right before the title. So we've got our script tag. Within this script tag, we can inscribe some kind of code here. So let's do this alert, and then let's say hello world. Now let's save it. You see, that is it right there, hello world. So this shows here we can actually put our JavaScript in the head of our HTML page. Let's copy this and paste it right, or let's say cut it and paste it right under the body too, and then let's see what happens. Let's save this to it. There we go. Hello world. And we can get it again. But we can all testify that if we are writing a bunch of code for our JavaScript, we cannot put it in the same page as the HTML as well. So then we need to create an external file for the JavaScript too. So we can do that. Let's call that a script.js. And then every script or every JavaScript file has got a JS extension, right? Yeah, so there we go. Okay, so let's comment this for the meantime, right? And then we've now gotten our external file for our JS. So how are you going to link it with, or link it to the HTML file? We can do that so with the script stack, but here we are going to do that with the src attribute, which is the source attribute. So the source we're gonna put inside the name of the JavaScript file, right? If it was to be in an external folder too, we would specify the same path for it, the path to the particular file that we want, right? Yeah, so like since they are in the same directory, we need to just put in the name for it. And then scripts.js. There we go. Yeah, so we've linked our JS file to our HTML file. So let's test it and see if it's actually works, right? So hello world. Okay, it's working. That is there. We have it right here. It's working. Hello world. So let's try to dive deep, or let's try to do something with it. Something sensible. Okay, so like, shall we talk about variables? Variables in JavaScript are like variables in any other programming languages, right? So like we use variables to cache space for whatever items we are going to use in our programming languages. So this is the syntax for variable. We have the keyword for the variable, we have the variable name, and then whatever we're going to initialize it with. You understand me? So what are the keywords we're talking about? We have basically two types or three types we have of variables, of keywords in JavaScript, right? We have the let keyword, we have the const keyword, and then var keyword. Now the var keyword was an old type of declaring variables. So like recently or currently we are using the let's keyword, or sometimes the let's keyword. And then the constant keyword is also used when we don't want to override our variables. What do I mean by override? Let's say we've created a variable called x, and then we don't want to do anything with this particular variable, or not doing anything with this particular variable though, but we don't want to override it later in our code. So this is what we can do. We can use the const keyword to make it constant. That is why it actually means constant. Yeah, so like the keyword is const, so we cannot actually override it anywhere. So let's have a scenario of it. So let's say const x is equal to 25 right here. Okay, and let's try to assign it to a different this one too, and see. Const is equal to 24. Sorry, x is equal to 24. You see that when you save that, we have an error here on code type as trying to assigning a constant variable to another distance. It doesn't work that way. So yeah, we don't have something like that, but we can do that with the let variable 45. We can assign y again to any character that we want right here. This works. Let's do console. Console.log. Let's log y out. Sorry, let's log x out first, and then we log y as well. Yeah, so yeah, you can see over there we have x as 25 and y as 34, right? Now initially we should know that y was 45, and then we reassign y to 34. That is why y is appearing right here. but we can do something like, let's say console dot log over here. Let's log y out over here and see what happens. So we can see we have 45 over here, and then when you come right beneath it, we are having 34 for y. So we can actually override the let keywords. Right now, these are ways of declaring variables in JavaScript. Yeah, so like that is the syntax. We have the keyword over here, which is the const or the let. Now we can also use the var too. Var is over there. So let's say var name is equal to Nana Kwame or something here. We bring our semicolon. So we save that. Sorry, we didn't log that out. So console dot log what name. So Nana Kwame, there we have it. Yeah, so we can use the var keyword too, but like as I said earlier, the var keyword is an old type of declaring variables, so we don't actually use it anymore these days, but of course some programmers still uses it, right? So shall we talk about some data types of JavaScript? Right, we have the number data types, which is, let's say, when you have a whole number, when you have a decimal, they are all data types, right? But of course, in some languages, the data types of these numbers it differs, right? So in Java like this, we can have, let's say, floats for decimal variables, or like decimal variables with decimal points, and we can have the int keyword for integers or whole numbers. So like that is how it goes. But in JavaScript, we don't do it that way. We just specify anything. So like right here, we could have done it 45.4 something. Still, we could have logged it out. Let's save it. Yeah, so 45.4, that is all you see over here. That is it over there, right? So like in JavaScript, it's kind of loosely typed, or loosely typed language. That is how we can do all this, right? So we have string too. What is string? String is a collection of characters. So like, what are characters too? Characters are from A, B through to Z, right? Either being uppercase or lowercase, they're all characters. So like a collection of characters make strings. So like we have name over there. My name is a string, your name is a string, whatever, hello world, anything we can think about. I mean, we can think consistent of characters, they are all string, right? We have boolean too. Now boolean values are just true and then false. We have other variables or other data types in JavaScript. We have the null, we have the undefined, we have the object variables. Now the object variable consists of different types of data types, to make up some examples are arrays, and then arrays, dates, literals, and a whole lot, right? Yeah, so like let's talk about strings right here. Now, what are strings? As I said earlier, strings are a collection of characters. Let's try to declare some strings. So now you could see I have my name in what do we call it, a colon. Sorry, fuck, what's the name of this? No, as I was saying, we have a single quote and a double quote. Now I'm using a double quote right here. I could have used single quote for it, right? So let me log this one out first. Yeah, so console dot log name. Let's see. Sorry, I got an error here. So Nana Kwame, there we go, right? I could have used a single quote over there and it would work as same. It would work as same, nothing would change over there. So like, it's up to you. You can just use a single quote or a double quote, right? So Nana Kwame, yeah, so let's save it. There we go, same Nana Kwame we have here, right? So like strings, yeah, so that is how we actually, you know, put strings in, or we store strings as variables that we can use in our code or something, right? Yeah, so like let's try to do something. String first name equals to Isaac. First name equals to Isaac. Yeah, so first name equals to Isaac, and let's second name equals to Kwame or something. I don't really know. Yeah, so and then console dot log first name, there we go, first name plus second name, right? So let's see what happens. This is actually called concatenation, string concatenation. We use, like, we concatenate string with, or we concatenate other two strings with the plus, or we concatenate we actually log out whatever we want to log out, and then we concatenate it with variables or other stuff with a plus sign. Of course, we have other forms of concatenations, but we'll talk about that one later, right? So let's log about that. Here you could see Isaac Kwame over here, but we can see there is no space between them, so we can actually do something like this. We can actually add our own space to them. So let's bring some space over here, and then we bring other plus two. We save it, yeah, and then we have a space between it. So like these are some things about string. And of course, we could have actually done something like this. Let's say full name actually be equal to first name, first name plus second name, and then we do console dot log full name right there, and then let's see what happens. Of course, we are not getting the same space as I saw. We need to do the same thing to it. So let me copy that, paste it right here. We good. So let me save it, and then we have the same thing over here, right? Now we have methods. Now what are methods? Methods are a group of functions within a particular class, or a particular class or something. So like we have a couple of methods that are defined on strings. Some are the two uppercase method, right? Now because it's a method, we need to add the brackets to specify that it's a method. Now it's a method on a string, so let's see what happens. We can see that it logged Isaac Kwame out, but this time they were all uppercases. They were all in uppercases, right? So like that is the use of this method right here. Okay, yeah, we can also do actually do same for lower case too. So let's say lowercase, there we go, and then they are all going to be in the lower case. So like we've got a couple of methods on strings, like they are lots. So and then we can define all of them, but let's do something right here. Console.log, and then full name dot index of index of let's say index of A. Let's see what happens. We've got two. Now JavaScript is a zero-based index, right? So this is what actually happened. I mean, this is the full name, Isaac Kwame. So it counts from 0. The first index is the first I, or sorry, the I, which is 0, 1, and then 2, right? So it actually logged the first A out. That is the purpose of the index of method, right? So like it looks for the particular character that we're going to specify in the parameter or in the argument of the method, and then it displays or it logs the index of that particular argument at the console. So that is the purpose of this method. Let's try to move on to other things. Now we have arrays too. What are arrays? Arrays are collection of data. When I say collection of data, what do we mean? We can have arrays of integers, arrays of strings, arrays of whatever we want to include in that particular array, right? So let's try to define some array. So let's use the let's, or no, this time let's use the const class names equals. Now this is how we define arrays. We bring our square brackets, and then we bring whatever we want to specify in there. Square brackets. So let's say we've got Nana, we separate that with a comma. We've got Kwame, we've got Isaac, there we go, Ima right inside, right? Okay, so like this is an array. You have array of names or array of strings right here. Now there are a couple of methods that we can perform on this array, right? We can use like most methods on this array. Let's try to log this array out first and see what comes, right? So what's the name of the array? Class names. There we go. Log them out. So these are the arrays. You can open them and see what's going on in. So yeah, these are the names, Nana Kwame. So like the first name is actually an index of 0, right? Second name comes 1, and then in that order. So like the length of the array is actually the number of the arrays minus 1. That is the actual length of the array. So we can do something like, let's say 0. And let's see what happens. Nana, the first one, because that is the first, and then 1 actually represents the second one, right? Yeah, we can do that for all of them as well. Yeah, so like that is when it comes to arrays. And then yeah, now let me try to put this method on it. Dot length, the dot length element, the dot length method. Now there we have it. So like we have 4 elements in it, right? So like this dot length method actually counts the number of items in the particular array and then displays it, or we use it for whatever we want to use it. As simple as that, right? We can also use a couple of methods on this array. Index of, let me say, Nana, 0. Nana is actually 0, right? Kwame, and we have it over there. Kwame is an index of 1. You have a whole lot. We have the concatenate. We can actually put 2 arrays together, right? So we use the concat method to put 2 arrays together. We got the dot push method, the dot pop method, and then a whole lot, right? Okay, so now let's jump right into flow control. Now what are flow controls? Flow control simply means looping. So basically we have 3 types of looping. We have the for loop, the while loop, and then the do while loop. So first of all, let's talk about the for loop. This is the syntax of the for loop. We have you specify the for, and then in a bracket we have the initializer, and then with a semicolon we separate the condition from the initializer, and another semicolon to specify the increment or the decrement statement, right? And then we bring a curly braces, and then within the curly braces we have the body of that particular or the body that, or the codes that we want to loop through, or the codes that we want to fire when the loop is going, or we are iterating through the loop, right? Yeah, so like that is basically what the for loop delineates. So let's dive into it and let's see. So this is the syntax of the for loop. We have the for, and then into bracket the initializer. So like the initializer is a declaration, right? So let's I equals to 0. We separate that with a semicolon, and then I less than or equal to, or let's take I less than 4, right? And then I plus plus. Now I plus plus simply means I plus 1. Yeah. And then let's do something like console.log. Let's try to log the names of the array, right, at the console or in the console. So console.log, we have class names, and then I. So let's try to see what this actually does for it. Let me comment all these out. Okay, let me comment all these out so that we can see what's going on. Wow. So let me save it again. Yeah, so that is it. We looped like with just 2 lines of code. We were able to display all the names in the array. If we were supposed to be having, let's say, 10 or 100,000 of names, it would all be displayed right here, and then we could use them for whatever we wanted to use, right? So that is the syntax for looping. Now with this particular example like this, the array, you remember we talked about some method on array called the .length method, right? So we could have used that method right here. Instead of putting in 4, your program should be dynamic, right? So we could have done something like class names dot length, right? So like what this actually means is the program should run with the initialization of 0, right? And then the 0 or the initializer should be less than the class length. Now when we displayed the class length, it gave us 4. So like that is actually the length of the array, and then that is, when you remember, that is actually what we specified right here when we were trying to log all the names to the console. So let's save that, and then exactly what came first, that is the same thing. So like these are the essential properties of the methods that we're talking about. Yeah, we could have done something like this too, and then put something like this here, +1. We could have done same, but right, yeah. So there we go. Could have done same. It's they are all the same. Yeah. So let's move to the while loop too. So this is the syntax for the while loop. While, then we bring in the condition. Now here the condition is this. Let's copy and then paste it right in, and then we bring the body of the function. Let's copy this right into, yeah. So there we go. But let's see something. We're actually going to get an error right here. Yeah, I said it, because the I that we are specifying the condition on isn't defined here. Now here it was defined within this one, and then that is all. It is only going to be accessed in this block of code. You can't access it outside of the code. So when we want this code, or when we want this while loop to actually work, we need to declare this particular I variable. So let's say 0. Yes, that is what we're gonna do. Bang, 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 bang. Now our code is really running. Let me halt it right here. Sorry for that. Now it is because we didn't give the increment or the decrement statement. That is why all these are happening, right? So let me actually open the console again. So with the F12 as a page. Don't send. Let me launch the page again. Yeah. F12. Yeah, so like the reason why we got that, infinite loop running was because we didn't actually specify the increment or the decrement. So like here within this block, we just do the I++ within the block. You understand? Yeah, we run it and then we get the same thing. Yeah, it's because we have the for loop right here. That is why we are getting duplicates of the outputs. So yeah, there we go. Now we can do same for the do while loop too. So let me just quickly run through. So this is the syntax of the do while. Let me copy and paste. It's right here. While copy and paste it right here. Yeah, so this is the do while loop, the syntax for the do while loop, right? So let's save it. There we go. Let's try to comment this out and then see what happens. Let's save it. Yeah, and the same thing happens, right? So that's the syntax of the do while loop too. Now we should know the do while loop actually, runs at least one before the actual number of the iteration, right? Now we have conditional statements too. Now what are conditional statements? Conditional statements are the if statements, the else if statements, and then the else statements too. Like in with regards to the conditional statement, we got something to call the switch statements. They are also parts of the conditional statement, or we can use them interchangeably, right? So like this is where time permits me to end my video. We are going to talk again right next week. Okay.